So you're what, Northern California?
Um, yeah, I'm in Bakersfield, so it's
Oh,
about,
you're in Bakersfield.
yeah, it's about an hour and a half from LA.
Buck Owens,
Yep, yep,
Dwight Yoakam.
yeah,
So the last I remember, first of all, thanks for coming in.
yeah,
And
thank you for having me.
thank you for, you know, showing up.
Yeah, I was a little reluctant, but I very much relate with Morgan, like to stay behind the scenes.
Well, there's a
But
lot of,
she,
what's that?
yeah,
What's that?
okay.
So, yeah, there's a lot of you or those like you that are starting to step up. Have you been on live before?
No,
Oh,
never,
really?
no.
Oh, all
I remember you
right.
wanted to go live that night when I was visiting you, and I'm like, hell no, I'm not going live. Yeah.
So, what's it been like for you these last 2 years with this whole COVID thing? Has it affected
Um,
you at all?
no, actually, no. I mean, no, it really didn't. I mean, other than, sometimes you forget it's going on. I'm a true hermit by nature, so but when I would go out, see everybody in the mass, it was just like so surreal, but very exciting that it's finally happening, for us. So yeah, it doesn't nothing freaks me out. I'm just like, all right, let's do this.
Do you feel like it's happening now?
I do. Yeah, I do. I remember when 9/11 happened, I thought maybe this is it, and I thought it was going to be the catalyst. But yeah.
So how long before 9/11 were you awake? The whole time?
Well, I kind of came in, as most star seeds, just not feeling like I belonged here, just an empath, a lot of my gifts turned on. And so yeah, it was very challenging, like not wanting to be here, but knowing I'm here for a reason. Lots of crazy experiences, um, like spiritual attacks all my life. And yeah, just kind of feeling like I've been that by negative, energy.
So
Yeah.
how's that negative energy doing now with these energies that seem to be pounding the earth, this light?
Um, it kind of just comes and it fluctuates. It just learning more to clear it out. But there's been a lot of attacks this last year. And I work with Steven Popiotek. How do you
Oh
pronounce
yeah,
his last? Yeah, yeah, I've been working
Poppy
with him. I
attack.
actually met him when I met you in Arkansas. I started working with him. So
All right.
yeah. Yeah, I just had a session with him a couple days ago.
Yeah, he's
Yeah.
lit. He's lit, no
No,
doubt.
he is. Yeah, highly recommend him.
So
Yeah.
like
No,
a lot
yeah,
of
we just go ahead.
I was going to say, so like a lot of people, particularly women,
Hmm.
long before 2011, were awake that something big was going to go down.
Yeah.
And you're saying
Yeah.
you feel it coming on. I mean, it really seems to have sped up tremendously
Oh, yeah.
since February, or even the last few weeks.
Yeah. Yeah. The energies has been crazy, wild. Yeah.
Are you finding that your weeks are kind of cyclical? I
Oh
mean,
my gosh.
are they like?
Yes.
I mean, like this weekend, I was wiped out, and I think it's like 3 weekends in a row.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Like some days, I'm rarely sleep, wake up, get a few hours sleep. Some days I just want to sleep,
Yeah,
off and on all day.
yeah.
Yeah, it's been crazy. Definitely.
So are you going through this alone? I mean, I know you're a hermit, but
Yes, no, yes. I've been single for like 10 years.
you had a
Yeah.
son too. I think I remember, right?
I have 5 kids, yeah.
5 kids. Okay, all
Five
right.
kids. Yeah,
All right.
four biological and then one that I've raised since he was a baby. He's going to be 18 in next month. So yeah.
How are they going through all of
They're
this?
starting to awaken. They've always thought I was a nut. My daughter who's 30, she's starting to awaken. I would share, information and she's like, Mom, I'm so sorry. I really thought you needed to be put into an institution. But she thought I was crazy. And all my experiences, they always said, "Oh, Mom, it's schizophrenia." Because I'm able to do a lot of things. I speak with those on the other side. I'm clairvoyant. It runs really strong in my family, my Native American side. And yeah, I've just always been tapped in, but I just never really shared it with people because they think you're crazy.
So
So,
you're
but now I'm
30,
just starting to talk about it because it's like this is just my reality. I'm just not gonna not talk about it anymore. And
right?
it's like getting to that. I mean, I'm 50. It's like at this point, it's like I just don't give a shit what anybody thinks.
Exactly.
Call me crazy. I don't care.
So your 30 year
Yeah.
old's asking you questions or coming
Yeah,
to
she's
you.
starting to, yeah,
Oh,
awaken to what's going on, and it kind of freaks her out. And two of my sons are pretty awake,
yeah.
and yeah, and she's like her empathic nature is kicking in, and she's like, now I understand, because I'm very selective about who I'm with, who I spend time with, don't like the large crowds, all that, always having to ground myself, and she's like getting that sensory overload, like even going out in public, and she's like, how have you dealt with this your whole life? you know, because it's not, yeah, it's like I wouldn't, it's a badass soul that chooses to come in as an empath because it is very uncomfortable, to feel everything.
Welcome to
Um,
the jungle.
right, right.
so
But I'm
so
learning, yeah, learning to block it, and
like your connection to the you, me, we, and it, the infinite.
Mhm.
It sounds like it's just all day long, every day, and always has been.
Yeah. I mean, I've always, yeah, felt, I came here like even the idea of what a career is as a kid, it never made sense to me. The system it just never made sense to me. Money, and I knew I was more bent on a spiritual path, before I even was aware of it. There was just something different. So have a very close connection with Yeshua. I had an intense awakening in my late 20s
Mm-hmm.
where he came, and we were just, I think it was close to a year of just bliss where he was with me 24
Really?
7.
You were what? How
Yeah, it
old were
was
you? Like late 20s?
late 20s. Yeah. Yeah.
So was there like traumas leading up to it or anything like that? Because a lot of times there'll be like a trauma and then a divine essence will step in and.
Um, well, I was married for 18 years to a heavy, heavy drinker, which is very traumatic. And so that's what really pushed me into my connection with Yeshua because it was just being alone in a marriage. So I'm really grateful for that. Otherwise, I wouldn't have sought the spirit, so strongly where I just had to have it, because I felt so alone so it's, yeah, very strong connection with him. And
So,
then I very, very naively just told the Holy Spirit, it's like, strip me of everything, that when you're first starting out, just clear, like now it's like, ooh, ease and grace for the next initiation.
yeah.
Let me have some, yeah, when you start out, you're just like, strip me. You got to be careful what you ask for.
So,
Yeah.
so in that year that he was with you, did he tell
hmm
you like what was going to happen? Like, the whole world's going to wake up. Um, you're not crazy. Like, what was he telling you? Or was it just more of
Um,
an atmosphere of feeling?
he was just with me. I mean, there was so much joy and bliss, and he was just with me literally every minute of the day until it came to a close. He's like, now you need to be a wife to your husband. And I was like, I didn't want anything to
Go
do with
back
it.
and be normal.
And I was like, no, I really didn't want to,
I don't. I don't.
for
I
it to
don't
end.
think. I don't think a lot of people realize or we really ever talk about the the double life of a light worker in hiding.
hmm
Before everything
Yeah,
came out.
yeah,
I mean, that was a real deal.
yeah, yeah,
Drove a lot of us
yeah.
crazy.
Oh yeah, gosh. That's when
So,
I thought, in my 20s, I'm like, am I going crazy? Because I knew I was here to do more, but I didn't know what it was going to be. And then I find it's like I need answers. And so I had a dream where, I was standing before this it was kind of like a courthouse, and it was just simple. It's like you have a higher calling.
hmm.
It's like, okay, so I just needed that confirmation, validation. Because I thought I was going crazy, for sure. Yeah.
So, do you get like collective intel, or is it mostly personal?
Um, it could be both. I've always had like premonitions and dreams
Yeah.
since I was a kid. They would come to pass. But I always questioned it. And when you talk to people about it, that the gaslighting that goes on, is but yeah, no, in dreams, in words, definitely. I would get a lot of warnings, things are.
Well, I think the
So.
the the energy's been such over the last few weeks that some people are getting intel, and I totally respect it.
Mm,
And there's more talk about like a solar flash or 3 days of
mm,
darkness where we go to sleep and the frequency levels raise up. Are you feeling anything like that?
um, yeah, yeah. Actually, just as you started talking, like my whole body is vibrating right now. It's just like, yeah, so intense energies for sure.
Are you still having stuff come up, like personal stuff? I mean, has that died down?
Oh no, gosh, just last year has been like the Armageddon of Dark Night of the Soul. I've had many in my life, like two or three, but this has like been ending a connection with somebody, just kind of breaking those generational curses of the empath narcissist,
Right, right.
Um, it's been a year, yeah, since I ended it. It ended really messy with betrayals, and so, which was, necessary for me to cut that out completely. But he's not wanting to let go. So it's been a lot of stalking, gang stalking I've experienced
Wow.
as I'm healing since last year. Yeah, it's been crazy. I've never experienced that before. I mean, in the spirit realm for sure, but not in 3D. Yeah, all my technical devices being hacked into, and yeah, it's just been crazy, crazy.
That's pretty serious.
Yeah,
So, I
it's kind
mean,
of
how would somebody contend with something like that with these energies coming online? Because the energies coming online seem to be a bit more magical and collaborative in a positive way. I mean,
yeah.
like trying to stay neutral no matter what you go through. Has that been a challenge for you?
You know what? It's been such an intense year of going deeper and healing from that, and then other things coming in because I've been doing shadow work for as long as I can remember, my early 20s. I'm just very passionate about it in one form or another. But it's never ending, right? Everything, you're triggered and more. So it's been a lot of that, but amazing, blissful experiences, that through it, and my ancestors have been, I can connect with them on the other side. And sometimes they appear to me
Wow.
during the dark times. Like, I don't know how much more I can go through this um, negative battle that I've been going through. But there's the light that comes in to sustain me when I'm like, okay, I need some help here for
Wow.
sure. Because there's been a lot of like, sorry, that was a weird noise. Like voice to skull stuff going on, and just crazy stuff that's happened. That thankfully I've been working with Steven because it's been crazy. And we did find out in this last session, I was like, holy shit, you just can't make this shit up. The last session was a couple days ago, and we discovered that I have a clone. It's called China Lake. It's a naval base that's about an
Right.
hour and a half from here. Yeah, it's like, oh, nice, I got a clone. But we
You have a
took
clone.
that.
Were y'all
I have a
remote
clone.
viewing? Were y'all
Yeah, you
remote?
have a clone too. I saw your clone next to mine.
Everybody's got a clone.
Right. So, but just a, and he's like, yeah, it's not that far, the naval base. But I was like,
So
but
were
we
you
took, we
guys?
took back that, what they were using. It was just my galactic gifts, for my DNA that they were using
Okay.
without my consent. So
So were y'all remote viewing? Or what were you
I'm
doing?
sorry.
Were you remote viewing or were you?
Yeah, well, I guess that's what he does, and I'll tap in and see what he's seen. Um, we kind of
Cool.
flow really well that
Cool.
way. But
Cool.
yeah, no, he was describing the scene with my clone, and um, with these high priestesses of Hera, I want to say that I've
Yeah,
connected
he
with.
runs in he runs in some high frequency neighborhoods.
No, he does, he does.
whenever
But I could,
whenever
yeah,
we
he
do a
does.
show, well, the last time it didn't happen. Yeah, I think it did happen later in the show. Yeah, it did. He went out. But the other times, we always get knocked off 2, 3 times. It's crazy.
Oh yeah, that's happened with us. There's often interference, and sometimes the night before we're going to have a session, I'll get attacked, or
Yeah.
yeah.
So I want to go back to that because that's some deep stuff. But I was going to ask you when you mentioned it. I was going to ask you because of your heritage, your
Hmm.
ethnicity, if you had ancestors, of that stream of your lineage. And you mentioned ancestors. Are these like Native American? Love it.
Yeah, yeah. My great grandmother was full Shoshone, And my grandmother was a very powerful clairvoyant for sure. But she transitioned when I was 5, so I have very few memories of her. But she's come to me a few times. Uh,
So, how do they come to you? Do they ever come as apparitions?
yes, yeah, that's
Really?
when
Cool.
it's during my darkest times. She's come with my sister, who she took her life in 2008, and she's been with me this last year
Mm.
because she was in the same dynamic with the narcissist.
Right, right.
She was ready to launch into her spiritual calling, and she ended up denying that, marrying him, spent 20 years of, hell, and she ended up taking her life in 2008. And so she's been with me this whole time, this whole year of like, "Oh, you could do this, you're breaking this ancestral, pattern." And so
Wow.
that's been, yeah,
That's powerful.
that's been,
Sounds like
yeah.
sounds like you have a really strong connection with your sister.
Oh yeah, for sure. For sure. In fact, I just remembered we had a word spoken of over us, gosh, when I was probably in my 20s, she was 6 years older than me, that we were here. We had a very powerful purpose together. And just came to me, and she's, validated it. It's what we're doing together right now, but she's just doing it from the other side. So,
Yeah, I love talking about this stuff because so many people are waking up, and even for people that think like me that I've been awake or whatever, you still learn
mm-hmm.
stuff. Like,
Oh, yeah.
the whole thing with like attacks, and Stephen and I have talked about this. We don't come from
Mm-hmm.
two different places. It's an open dialogue, which I love. That's what I love about him. And I know you have
Mm-hmm.
the same intellect because I know you. But like in terms of like negative attacks, just negative presentations of negative energy or whatever you want to call it, or drama or whatever you want to call it. I
Mm-hmm.
mean, as these energies keep expanding, it seems like this is all coming down to one thing, and it's like all on us. No matter what it is, it's us. And
Right.
it's not a quick fix. It's been a hell of a journey. What are your thoughts on that?
Yeah. Oh, no, for sure. And it's, the more, especially for, the ones that are stepping up into it. I mean, anytime that I've um, began to take the steps to become more public or walk more into my purpose, it's just like self-sabotage too, my own shit and ego, right? But then just heavy attacks of like trying to
Right.
yeah. And actually I found out, oh, I had a regression. As a kid, I had these experiences where this loud vibration, almost deafening, would come into the room, and there would be these beings in the room, and I was terrified, right? And I didn't understand why everybody in the house wasn't being, aware, well, wasn't aware that this was going on. But and so I would like muster up the courage to, I never saw them because I was too afraid to look. I could just feel them, and I would run to the bathroom, and then they would dial the sound down, but they would always wait outside the bathroom. And for me, that it felt really negative until probably a few years ago. I changed my perspective because they were very compassionate and waited, and sometimes I'd go to bed and come back, and sometimes I have to go sleep with my parents, right? And this, I think the last time that happened, I was 16, and when I had the regression, I discovered that it was my star family coming to check on me,
Right on.
so that was very comforting, yeah. And then the last time it happened when I was 16, I found out in the regression the next morning by malevolent beings, a suicide program was put in me because that next day I wasn't suicidal, I never had been, but I just felt compelled to try to take
Wow.
my life. And I did, I cut my wrists, and I didn't understand why I was doing it. It was just a lot of mind fuckery going on.
Yeah.
That's the only time I've ever attempted it, but it's been like on my back my whole life, until I started working with Steven, that was cleared, which
Yeah.
was like, whew, because it was miserable. It's like, I know I'm not going to do it, and sometimes I get so pissed off. I'm like, I'm not taking myself out. Come and do it because I'm not doing it.
Right.
But to live that, so that was interesting to find that out in the my regression. It was like, oh, okay. Yeah.
Well, wow, that's intense. So I
Yeah.
was,
Yeah.
yeah. I mean, there's so many different. I don't want to say different streams. I mean, it's a universally seeded planet.
Mm-hmm.
Stephen's very galactic. I can see you in the same frequency. That's a very different experience than a lot of people have, but a lot of people have that experience, and it's not being talked about enough. Just like a lot of things haven't been talked about enough. But
Right.
I thought it was important to mention that, like you were talking about your experience as a younger person, and then
Hmm.
getting to the point where you realized who they were, and then even getting confirmation.
Right.
Do you get much communication from them now?
Um, the more that I accept being here and with honor and gratitude, because now I've become addicted to gratitude. I feel them coming in more,
Yeah,
But
yeah.
before it was just like this longing to go home, And I mean, I have my moments where I just, because I'm very isolated right now, because I've had to clear out um, everybody in my life,
Yeah, yeah,
And so I'm very, yeah, very isolated. So during those times, very connected with my team, my unseen team, because that's what I have, right?
right. That's right.
But yeah,
Yeah, we're not alone. I mean,
no, no.
we are when it comes to other human beings. I mean, at the end of
Yeah,
the
no,
day,
yeah, I can get
at
it
least
can get
that's where you got to
tiring.
start anyway.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think the experience, and I've met a lot of people over the years that have had, I guess, star family experiences from a very young age, and that's a
Yeah.
really different trip. I mean,
Yeah, it is.
to be able to, I mean, it's to me listening to your story, it's almost like that that star family that that you're connected to is somehow connected to like your human lineage, like you
Hmm.
getting a suicide implant. What happened with your sister? We know it's
Hmm.
all good
Right.
now, but and then having the other thing intertwined, the ET aspect, like the
Yeah.
malevolent coming in and doing something. Like, what is that all about? Where does that all?
Well, I know just from working with Steven, I've had past lives, because I've discovered a lot of past lives where we've all done some shady, dark shit, right? And I've definitely worked with reptilians in past life, and they're
Mm-hmm.
always that's been a big battle with those with our we're all family. They're just they've
Yeah.
gone down the wrong road.
So, I mean, do you feel like, on a personal level that, given all the fluctuations and everything that's coming up and all the things that happen over these last whatever, that you're in a place of the most balance you've been in some
Oh
weird
yeah.
way, in some
Oh
weird way,
yeah.
right?
Absolutely. Yeah. Yep. Yeah, and I'm just, like this connection with this past person. We were on and off, very bizarre connection for 5 years. But I've known since I was in my 20s. I didn't know what the word was. I didn't even know what twin flame was until, gosh, 5 years ago. But I knew I came in. I had a dream about it for sacred partnership to do spiritual work. I didn't. It wasn't about the romantics of it because I really, at this point, I was like, I don't give a shit about that. I'm here, to do some work. And so thinking that, I could have written a book. I could write of all the synchronicities when we met. And now I've just let go of that idea. And it's like, even if he is, he's more my evil twin, you know? So it's like, yeah, but it's still very intense connection where the psychic connection is very
Yeah.
powerful. And
Yeah.
so, yeah, I'm just learning too. That's why I started a channel like just a couple of days ago. I'm like, I woke up, it's like, in what ways am I keeping myself trauma bonded to him? Obviously, I still am because this dance is still going on, even though I haven't seen him in a year, right? And I woke up and they just said, share your story, you know.
Wow.
So, okay, so if I can be of service and then meet other like-minded, people.
So your first one was when?
A couple of days ago, yeah. And I'm like a tech retard. My daughter-in-law had to help me do it.
So,
So yeah.
how long was it? How do you feel about putting it out
Oh,
there?
I don't. I was nervous as hell.
Yeah.
But I couldn't not do it. Right.
Yeah.
I was
Yeah.
so compelled to do it and to share things. I'm like, you want me to share all my story? Because I've had so many crazy, wild experiences, and they did want me to share. I think it was like 15 minutes that I
Yeah.
recorded, but they did say, as I was speaking, they wanted me to share a really wild experience I had about 4 years ago, where I really the power of love it was just put in my face because I was watching some show on all the sex trafficking, and that used to really take me down. And I literally put my hands. I felt so much love for the perpetrators and and the attachments on them, the whole, anybody that was involved. I just felt this unconditional love and compassion. And I was calling back to the light, but I had my hands placed on the computer, and I fell asleep. And when I woke up, they had altered my reality. And I'm like, how did they do this? It was bizarre. And I was in, it was like a cave, a room, but it was like a cave where all these dead dogs were on the ground. And usually it's like more minions that they send, but these were like the big guns they sent. I could feel their energy was very powerful and dark. I mean, just the hatred coming from them was, it was horrifying and terrifying. And so much so that I didn't even ask for help, because I couldn't even move. But they, spoke telepathically. It's always telepathic. And they just were, God, what did they? They said, we will kill you like these dogs, right? And then I heard, you have to save yourself. Nobody's going to save you. And so I climbed up. It's a single story house. And I climbed out. I turned, took a while to muster up the courage because I felt like they just wanted to shred me to pieces. Climbed out the window and I ended up falling. I knocked out, got a gash in my head. My legs were all bruised up. And when I woke up, I came to, I was on the other side of the fence standing. I have no idea what happened during that time, but it was wild. But just the power of love, it just infuriated them enough to do that. And then it made me realize, like, you hear about all these whistleblowers that take their lives in wild ways that, like, they would not do that. And it's like, it's like, that's how they do it. Because if I would have been 3 stories, I would have leapt thinking I was saving myself because it was so horrifying.
Wow.
And so that was intense. Yeah. But just that, the power of love, which doesn't mean that, I'm learning as an empath, you still have to have healthy boundaries and you don't take shit, but staying in that love vibration, which can be challenging, but
yeah,
yeah.
it is the power.
Oh yeah.
There's
nothing
power.
like
I
it.
mean, regardless of how crazy this whole trip is getting and gotten and will be, or what,
Right.
multi-dimensional, the telepathy
Yeah.
thing. I mean, anything's possible.
Right.
But loving, being love, whatever.
Yeah.
It's doing its work, and we're seeing evidence of it.
Oh yeah, for sure. For sure. And I'm able to, I discovered this like 5 years ago, tap into and connect with people's higher selves that I'm connected with. And just have full on, conversations. And so I've done that during this process of people that have betrayed me that I really, loved and honored and cherished our connection. And just that understanding that we all chose to come in to do this dance together, right? So you think about with that perspective, there's never, not even need for forgiveness if we all agree to this, no matter how painful it is. And it definitely was a catalyst for me. And that's, so I would have conversations with our higher self and thanking them, and knowing that on the soul level, it was very difficult and painful for them to do that to me. Their humans haven't quite got, with that vibration, obviously. But just having that higher perspective is just, it's life altering,
Yeah.
and doing a lot of, so much healing work and different modalities to not deny that darkness in me, that anger that I've repressed in situations, but finding constructive ways to, with art, breaking glass, making a cool art piece, doing 0 point work that, Morgan, higher self, that's been, amazing.
Really?
Yeah. Oh yeah. No, it's
That's
so
a very
powerful.
helpful tool in these times.
It is.
It really is.
Yeah.
Especially if you do it consistently, because there's a lot coming.
Mm-hmm. No, yeah, that is a very powerful tool. And I think I first utilized it when I met you guys. I think I shared this with you when I was in Missouri, staying with my mom, helping her pack up and move, and just having that a difficult relationship. Being, I was used the 0 pointing, and instantly it changed. Where she came in, and apologized. My mom doesn't apologize, but it was like instant. I did the work for the first time, and then she comes in the room. I'm like, holy shit, this really works. It was, yeah, a very powerful experience. So,
Yeah, I've heard several stories like that where, the obvious change in your frequency changes the behavior or
right.
whatever circumstances around you instantly. And this is
No.
what I was talking about with like going through the type of journey you've gone through, or like Steven's gone through.
Hmm.
My, whatever my relationship with dark and light or whatever is going to be, and from coming from a totally different perspective. So now we're in this energy, and I know Steven, I know you, working on yourselves, tending to your frequency, and
Hmm.
coming out of that experience, evolving out of that experience. How much time do you put in? I mean, do you approach the things that approach you from an internal way, or do you still have to deal with it like on an external way? You know what I mean? Like putting zero pointing into motion when these things come at you, or are you still? Is it at a level where you're still kind of engaging them?
No, definitely. Yeah. Putting it in motion. I mean, I spend every day I wake up and I spend a good hour doing different, different energy work, on myself, for the planet. That's just really grounding for me. And yeah, and coming from a place of, I've noticed gratitude is, it it shifts everything for me in an instant.
Yeah.
Usually, I mean, there's some times where it's like, hey, I'm grateful for this initiation. I just have to fake it until I make it, of course. But just staying in for anything, the smallest things, getting up in the morning is like, I'm so grateful to have a toilet. Really, 'cause I live in my car for a bit by choice,
Yeah, yeah. I
and
got
so
that. I
yeah,
got that last
simple
night.
things.
I got that last night. It's not been warm enough to turn the air conditioner on, and when I
Mm,
have it on, I don't. I put it like on 78 or 80. But
mm,
for some reason, last night it was a weird weekend. It was a weird weekend. I was sleeping half the time, in a haze, in a daze. But anyway, I was laying down and I put the air conditioner on 73, and I laid in the bed and it came on, and the air hit, and it just brought back these memories of like when I was on the street, and then you would go to sleep somewhere and they'd have an air conditioner, right? And it
mm,
was just a sound. It was like a surreal experience. But
uh,
yeah, the gratitude thing is huge.
oh no, yeah. I tell everybody, I tell my kids, it's like, I'm telling you, this works. All else fails, you get to find, and it does.
Are
Definitely
you
does.
feeling, or let me just ask you this: what are you feeling like on when it comes to telepathy? Is it increasing? Are you seeing any changes in your body? Are you having any light body experiences? Has your psychic ability or anything kind of ramped up? As this
Oh
is going.
yeah, yeah, for sure. Yeah. And I've discovered I didn't know what was going on. This has been going on for several years. Um, that I do timeline work, and I didn't know it was like it's like I would be gone and here in an instant. And it that when it does happen, it's ramping up, or it's just like I was at the grocery store and I just had to stop, and I couldn't move, and it was just my whole reality was a little altered, and it's just like, and then you're gone and you come back in that instant. And I didn't realize what I was doing. And then Stephen tapped into it's like, 'cause I've known, I was told I do grid work, a lot of people we know we do work, but we're not aware of it. But the timeline work, I'm aware when it's happening because I'll just go and come back.
Do you have
And then it's just
any?
like,
Do you ever have any recall of what you were doing?
no. Oh, well, one time I did, and I wrote it down. I forget. I have so many, the experiences I have. It's like I write them down, and then it's like I'll go back and find them in books. Like, how could I forget that crazy experience? But there's been so many that, like I need my friend. She's like my memory bank. I have to have her on. It's like because I don't, yeah, really just wild experiences, and it's just kind of normal that, um, yeah, I'm just starting to really talk about it because a lot of people don't understand it and they think you're just crazy,
Well, there's enough crazy people, and you can share.
I know, I
You know,
need to tap in. I need to find the crazies.
this is it. This is where all the crazy people hang out.
Yeah.
There's
Yeah.
plenty of
It's like,
plenty.
can I have this one with the flesh? Because I miss that, that contact, that human contact.
Yeah,
It's like when you don't have it, just an actual, warm hug from somebody that's other than, my family. It's like, it's
yeah,
been so long since I've experienced that. And it's
yeah,
that longing of really connecting more with my tribe. I mean, it's always been there, but now it's getting to a point. It's just, you know, ramping up, or like, I have to. There's no,
yeah.
because I'm very, very okay being alone. I'm an introvert, but it's getting to the point where it's like, I just don't want to do this anymore alone. I'm tired. You know.
Yeah, my friend Taino in Puerto Rico, or where's he at? Puerto Rico. Yeah, he says that. How did he put it? But basically, we didn't. We're meant to go out there. Like we're meant to, not just
Hmm.
keep this to ourselves. Were you
Yeah, yeah.
were you shocked or surprised that basically your higher self, your team, told you needed to start making videos?
Um, no, I wasn't. No, I wasn't shocked. I mean, I've always felt that, but I've been so resistant because I'm just like, no. In fact, the dream that I had with when I was in my 20s, I was married at the time, but I knew it wasn't my husband. I didn't see him, but his energy was completely different. And it scared that I've only dreamt of him another time was 2 years ago. But this dream just scared the shit out of me, and I'm like, hell no. So I pushed it away as far as that sacred partnership, to do something, because we were getting ready to go before this huge mass of people to speak. And I was just horrified. I'm like, no, I am not doing this. Um, and so I mean, I could feel that energetically, like it's needing to come in. I don't know, who he is, where he is, but I'm getting to the point. It's like, okay, I'm ready for my comrade in arms now. You know, I could feel it so intensely, like it's going to come in.
Right on.
So, but I don't know. Yeah, I'm just like going with the flow now. It's like, yeah, trying to at least. I have moments where it's like, will you fucking hurry up? I'm tired of doing this shit on my own. I have those moments. It's like, this is exhausting. I'm 50. And I've never dated, never, I've just always been really different in that aspect. I've only had three in my adult life relationships. One with my ex-husband. I'm bisexual and was with a woman, and then this crazy situationship with somebody who definitely a soul connection, and thought he was my counterpart.
Situationship. Situationship.
It was the cruel mind games. I've never, because my daughter's like, you're so naive, mom, because I don't step out there. I don't not interested in dating, or I'm always been, for the most part, focused on my spiritual work. And it was like in 2012 where I was guided. They were like, okay, you need to clean house internally, go deep. And so I quit my job and worked like just 2 days a week, became like a minimalist, just to really focus on doing this work, because it was so the importance they put on that.
I was going to ask you about that. So was it like galactically influenced? Was it, like what kind of
I
energy
don't,
was?
I don't know. They just come in telepathically and will speak.
Yeah,
I never know who it is,
yeah, yeah, yeah.
But yeah, it definitely was. It was time.
Well, it's certainly moving fast now.
Yeah.
It's moving fast now. I mean, what are your thoughts on, everybody gets tired of me asking this question, but teleportation. I mean, the remote viewing thing, I think that's, when I say been out there a while, just like light language, you didn't hear light language a few years ago. Now it's really getting out there. I don't mean that in a bad way. I mean, like the frequency or the coding or whatever you want to call it, the information.
Mm-hmm.
But,
Do you remote view?
I mean, yeah, I could remote view.
Yeah.
I mean, I think
I,
anybody can.
yeah.
It's just
I think
trusting.
I stumbled on things like that by accident. Like astral projecting. I didn't realize that's what I was doing, because I can very much go into a meditative state and think about something, and then I'm there and experiencing it. And it's
Right.
very, yeah, very powerful experience. So,
Yeah. And to me, those things are picking up now.
yeah,
I've noticed that there's times, kind of like you in the grocery store, where everything just kind of freezes,
yeah, yeah,
and something's going on, and like
hmm
and it feels like I just popped back in. But
yeah,
when I've
yeah,
had that
really cool.
experience in the past, it's usually like coming out of sleep, or it's more of a really powerful energy on the body. This is much lighter.
Yeah. hmm
So I wonder what time. I mean, it looks like we can tell what time's doing, but I wonder what space it's going to do.
I don't know. It is very interesting. I don't know.
Yeah.
Definitely I mean, most days I don't even know like what day it is. I mean, sometimes I don't know what year it is.
Yeah.
That's been
Yeah.
going on for several years where I literally was like, what year are we in? You know, my son's like, Mom, you're losing it. It's like I had no idea.
Or what day it is, what month it
Right.
is,
Right.
or
It's like,
walking into the kitchen and forgetting why you went into the
oh,
kitchen.
all the time. Yeah. Yeah. And everything's amping up as far as, because I can feel sometimes I take on people's, used to be just people I'm close to, their physical pain. I mean, I feel their emotions and I could tap into all that, but I'll also, take on their physical pain. And I've noticed that it's happening with the strangers now, like at the grocery store, it's like, wow, it's
Wow.
definitely, yeah.
Do you ever act on it?
What do you mean?
Like,
I had a conversation with this kid in the grocery store. As soon as I got into, he was checking me out. Um, I was taking on his symptoms. He started to do it, and then I just was very open. It's like I'm very empathic. Are you, he's like, yeah, no, it was like allergy symptoms, and I don't have allergies. And it just came on so strong where it's like I couldn't see, and he's like, oh, they've been driving me crazy all day, and it's like, yeah, no, I'm feeling it. And we had a conversation with that. He's like, yeah, my mom talks about that, being able to feel, and so just yeah, more having conversations and being open. And he was very open to it. He's like, wow, yeah, interesting. And I
or
do, I do Reiki,
yeah.
and so I definitely feel, when I work on my family, um, yeah, very much guided, feel the vibration or the heat in one area and stay on that area and feel their, I had one intense experience with this young girl and she had trauma, sexual trauma. And that was powerful. I was, when I was working in that area, I mean, I just was started flooding with tears and I could feel the vibration and just healing that trauma. It's a very powerful experience. So I definitely
Wow.
want to get into doing more than that, more of that work. Now that we can touch people again.
So
Yeah.
when we can touch people.
Yeah. We
So
can touch people.
Morgan said something interesting a few days ago. Like, because I mean, this whole experience we're having for all of us. I mean, there's fluctuations. There's what's going on, what's going to happen. I don't know. Who cares? And all that
Right.
stuff. But she said, why would we be given all this information? Like every person's, you might say, mission or focus or purpose or whatever, if we're not going to do anything with it. And a lot of people talked
Right.
about, there would come a time when we're going to be put to work.
hmm
Are you getting that kind of guidance?
Yeah. Yeah. It's definitely happening now. And definitely with doing more healing work. I had an experience in 2008. It was a really beautiful, positive experience where I woke up and there were these two gold energy balls floating around the room. They absorbed into the palm of my hands. And I'm like, okay, what am I going to do with this? So all these things are, yeah, kind of awakening and I'm choosing to activate that in me now. It's like, okay, it feels like it's kind of this, yeah, a lot of things are just coming now to the forefront of, okay, we need to activate this and this, from past experiences years ago. So
Yeah, like when we were kids.
yeah, yeah,
Like, I mean, think about that. I mean, I hear more and more people talking about that, like with the gold balls. I mean, in these
hmm
group sessions Morgan's doing, in other things people are talking about, other groups that are meeting, where people are playing with the energy And
Yeah.
imagine us walking around playing with two golden creation balls,
Right.
manifesting. You know what I mean? Like, why not? I mean,
Right. Right. I've been
it
doing that. Like
is,
I could feel it in my hand, so I'd throw it around like a
yeah,
ball.
yeah. Like
Really
all day
cool.
long, every day. Do we have to go into meditation and do it? I mean, we go to work every day. A lot of us
Yeah.
are kind of like flowing into these weird lifestyles where we seem to be of service to some degree, and it just things are kind of working for us. Maybe this is what we're going to be doing, walking
Yeah.
around like cartoon characters, creating badass stuff. I mean,
That
just
sounds amazing.
I mean, anything's possible.
Yeah.
It really is.
Yeah.
It,
I
it,
like that reality. That reality sounds more like home, you know?
well, I mean, to me, it's all about us and the galactic aspects that we are. I mean, I've always felt like they're facilitators, like our closest, like our advisors, like our elders. What I don't know, but it's still about us. So to me,
Right.
whatever the mission is from a galactic level, there's a human experience that is the gold, and and
Right.
and that's to me would supersede any other agenda or purpose.
Right.
Otherwise, oneness wouldn't be oneness. Not to
Yeah.
mention, we earned it. we earned a 3,000 year,
Yes, we
3,000
have.
millennium after party.
Right. Oh, yeah. Sometimes I visualize that with the galactics, that we, having a big party. It's like, oh, and then that'll sustain me. I'll visualize when it gets really difficult. I just use that, visualizations to,
So
the
so
back.
you, so you're living with some family. Is that your kids that you have?
Just my youngest. He's yeah, he'll be 18
18. Yeah.
this year. Yeah.
Yeah.
Now I
My
have adults.
my youngest just turned 20. She's lit. All my kids are lit. Um,
Yeah.
but the yeah, this younger generation is a real intriguing factor too.
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
don't
No,
know.
my 17-year-old. He's biologically my nephew, but
Right.
he's been with me since he was a baby. But he is extremely gifted and talented, and he just yeah, he kind of struggles with that, but he gets a lot of dreams and experiences. Like he feels like he's in the twilight zone sometimes. He's like, I don't feel like I'm here, and he'll have panic attacks, and I'm
Right.
like, that's just normal. Just breathe, but it's really hard for him to live with it.
Yeah, I bet.
Yeah.
But and
But he's
really,
having for a mom, so I don't think he's crazy. I'm like,
well,
you're in good company. You're in good company. You're not crazy.
yeah.
Yeah.
Plus
Yeah.
your journey. I mean, you can
Yeah.
speak to what he's going through. There's nothing he
Oh
can
yeah.
tell you that you haven't experienced.
Yeah. Yeah. It's like, yeah. So yeah.
I just wonder how many of those out there like you, these women that have been sitting back I mean, there's got to be millions in their own way, right? I mean, there has to be. This story is too common. They've been 80, 90% of these communities. Um, it makes sense just from coming back to equilibrium factor. I mean, I don't know. It's a very subtle, powerful, like you were talking about with being with Jesus for that year. I mean, just do you feel at peace? Are you feeling at peace most of the time?
Um, you know what? Through this last year has been rough, everything that I've experienced, but I've had, um, yeah, very intense. Like I don't know how I got through it. So I told my daughter, I was like, I don't know how I haven't walked around with an intravenous drip of alcohol just to have, because that's seriously. Um, but no, there's just been this wave of peace because I have felt my team with me, throughout the whole process, and just I've had moments like, how am I so joyful in the midst of because there's been black magic done that's been utilized, and once you realize it does lose its power, but I had kind of had an inkling it had been these last 5 years have been used on me by this person, but I was like, no, that's crazy. And it was kind of confirmed with the session with Stephen. that yeah, binding magic, sex magic, you know, because I really thought that was going on, but I'm like, no, because it wasn't a part of my reality, you know, here. And so yeah, just so it's been crazy. It's been a crazy year, but it does lose its power once you realize it. It just like it definitely that binding spell, the sex magic, because when you're in these kind of intense connections, it's like the passion and desire is off the charts, right? Where it can become addictive. It did for me, you know.
Right.
And so
Right.
it was breaking that. I mean, I've been celibate since then, so it's been a year, and it's just like I have no desire to. It's like, yeah, I just kind of mastered and purified that aspect of myself again.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, it's been
Yeah.
necessary to do that.
There's a lot of purifying going around all over the place, and
Yeah,
all different kinds of all different aspects of our journey. But
yeah,
it feels like, to your point, to your experience this year, I think a lot of people could relate. Like, we're scraping the bottom of the barrel here.
yeah.
You know,
Yes,
seriously.
yeah. And it's and it's going on in the collective too. I mean, where I know a lot of people are just like clearing out things that no longer
Yeah.
resonate. People, places, and yeah. I mean, it's
Um, I don't know if I'm right in whether I am or I'm not, but it feels like you're part of something. There's like a lot of ancestral stuff going on. Like, you got family around. They're lit. I mean, um, I forgot what I was going to ask you. Hang on, it'll come back to me in a second. 3D memory. Somebody said, "Hey, Grandpa," I know it wasn't about me. See, it was black magic, uh, ancestral.
yeah, definitely a lot of and I have 4 grandkids, and they're amazing, and they have brought so much healing because they're pure nature and spirit. Spending time with them, it just gives me so much hope.
What's that
No
like?
care in the world, just running around and just playing. It's
Wow.
like this is how it's going to be. This is how it's supposed to be. Not all this. We're also traumatized.
Do they ever shock you by anything they might say?
Um,
Like, some of these kids are talking about coming from other
yeah,
planets, and they're, or
not
saying
so much
some
that. I know
Buddha-esque. Yeah.
my oldest granddaughter Penelope. She's tapped into my sister's energy. Like she before she what did she say? It's like, oh, Leah, 'cause she didn't know her. She had passed before she was born, and she said, said Leah loved pajamas. And she's like, I know. She told me. And
Wow.
so she's very sensitive, and yeah.
I know what I was going to ask you. Do you feel like that where you're located, like, geographically, like the land, do you feel like there's a reason that you're there? Like, is it tied into the ancestral thing? A lot of people have been put in different places, and
Yeah, I've
it's
been trying to
definitely,
get out of here, so I think I'm just. I'm at peace being here, and I just recently reconnected with this woman. I'm really excited to hang out with her. She's a energy worker here, and she's like, because there's a lot of dark energy here. There's this, supposedly in the Mojave uh, Mountains, there's the Tehachapi Mountains. There's like reptilian layers there supposedly, but you can feel the energy up there. It's very very dark, and
well,
she said, yeah, a lot of people. She's like, we need more light workers here, warriors in this city, because there's so much dark that's like dark warlocks, witches that work under,
wow.
covertly. And so I wasn't aware of that. So I'm going to meet up with her in a few days. I'm
In
so excited
Bakersfield?
to.
You're in Bakersfield?
Yeah, yeah, yep.
Do you know where? Hang on. Damn it. My friend lives over there in that area, and she's got her name's Yvette Goulet, and she's got Eva's Sacred Alchemy.
Okay.
Scott Ware and Maria, his partner, over that direction. I can't remember the name of the place. It's a weird name. I think it starts with a T. It's a weird name.
Tehachapi?
Yeah. How far is that from you?
Oh, that's a small town. It's only 45 minutes.
Yeah, you should go meet my friends. It would. Yvette
Yeah.
is let me put it this way: if I ever get in trouble, I go to myself. That doesn't work, I go to Morgan. That doesn't work, I might call Yvette, and I have 4 or 5
Okay.
times in my life. Yeah, she's a powerful, powerful lady.
Yeah, yeah, I'd
Big
love to
time.
connect with her. Like
Big
I'm
time.
really, wanting to connect with
Yeah.
more powerful women that are, in their
Yeah.
spiritual, their
And
calling.
she's affiliated with a group, I think, that revolves around a retail store over there. And so there's like a sister circle, and then Scott Ware and Maria are there. Scott was the one that published Radiance magazine for a long time. So he
All
just
right.
bought some land out there. It was good seeing you. It was a
You
great way
too.
to start the Monday, and thank you for being so open. I mean, I think
Well,
that's what it's
yeah,
all about.
I don't know how to be, anything but authentic and raw and real. It's got
Yeah.
me in trouble sometimes. People look at me like, because it makes people uncomfortable.
Well,
I like to meet on a soul to soul level. I don't like
yeah,
shallow, yeah,
yeah, yeah. I got you.
surface conversations.
Well,
Kind of
keep doing
boring.
it. Keep doing it, and yeah, keep doing those videos. I'll check it out. What's the name of the YouTube channel?
The Alchemist Tribe.
The Alchemist Tribe. Okay,
Yeah.
I got it.
I just started a couple days ago. I haven't even done anything else. I'm like,
Well,
yeah. Actually, the day I decided to do it, I could feel my team were so freaking excited. They're like, "Yes, you're doing this finally." And I was like, "I'm glad you guys are so excited." I'm a little nervous.
like that kid on the roller coaster, that meme. Spirit
Right.
guides, and then you. Right on. Yeah, thank you for your
It'll get
courage.
easier for me,
Uh,
but yeah.
my
Yeah.
friend Dion Duplace said, "Thank you for your courage." Yeah, I think this is what it's all about to me. People talking
Yeah.
about their experiences, and yeah,
Yeah.
I really appreciate it. Maybe we can do this again later in 2022.
Yeah. Sure.
All right,
All right.
peace out.
Great.
Peace out,
Thank
everybody.
you.
Be back in
Bye.
a little bit.